to the History of Aviation podcast. I'm Derrick Beeler. In this episode 75, we're exploring something real close to my heart. We're exploring a Cold War legacy of the Lake City Air Force Station, a key radar installation originally known as the Cross Mountain Air Force Station. It was a part of the second wave of radar sites constructed in response to the Korean War. But before we jump into that, first off, I am joined by Mr. Julien Martinson. How's it going, Julien? What you been up to?
Oh, hey guys. Thank you for having me on the podcast. Again, it's truly a distinguished pleasure for me to be here. Last week I was in Kamloops for the British Columbia Aviation Association, and we had so many great speakers, and it was a conference, and I learned so much about what was going on, the trends, and in aviation today. And so today we're looking back at some of the history of aviation. So I look forward to this podcast.
Absolutely. And our producer, Shar Jones, extraordinaire producer that has keeping me and Julian on track with this new system we have here. How's it going, Shar? You're muted.
I'm muted. Look at us. Hey, look at that. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
And he's the producer.
Yeah, I'm extraordinary. I'm extra something today. That's for sure. So yeah, no, everything has been going good. I'm really excited to get back into podcasting again, and this has been a really good avenue. And hopping back in, it's clear night, ready to rock and roll. Whenever we talk about today, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and we've had a little hiatus here just to restructure, and we started using a new system for all things of our podcast, as well as a website we'll get into right here shortly.
With the construction of Cross Mountain AFS finishing in March 1952, the 663D AC and W Squadron began operating a pair of ANCPS's -6B and ANFPS-10 radars from the permanent site, allowing for the deactivation of the L-47 at Maryland. The station functioned as a ground-controlled interception and warning station. As a GCI station, the squadron's role was to guide interceptor aircraft toward unidentified intruders picked up on the unit's radar scopes. The station was redesigned as Lake City AFS, Tennessee, on December 1st, 1953. An ANFPS-6 height finder radar was added in 1958. One of the ANFPS's-10 was removed in 1959. Something interesting, the site still serves as a hub for radio and television transmitters today.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a place that I know very well. I grew up in Lake City, Tennessee. And as Shay knows, Shay's been around Lake City some. Yeah. And, we spend a lot of time four-wheeling around this thing. We spend a lot of time going up there and checking it out. So, yeah, something really interesting and cool. And I did not know that it was still a site for, still a hub for radio and television antennas. That's kind of wild.
Right. That is cool.
Yeah. So, and one of the other things that in my reading that I noticed was, if you'll pull up photo number 1, Shay.
All right. So it doesn't tell me which one's which here, but
go back. That's it. That's 1. Yeah, it should be 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, if you'll see in photo 1, then this is Cross Mountain. This is on top of a mountain. So just imagine these guys. This is where they lived, worked, everything. So you see on your left. Let me do that again. So you see on your left the main base area and admin and rec center. So, and then if you look on up the mountain just a little bit more, is the housing. And then if you look from the housing on over to your right, you'll see the radar station. So there was actually a lift that carried you from the bottom part of the mountain up to the top of the mountain to where you went to work at the radar station.
Oh.
Well, there you go. That's pretty sweet.
So yeah, and then this photo is from 2025. This is obviously a Google Maps photo from 2025.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is where it gets interesting. Is you'll go to photo number 2. This is the main base area in 2016 when a coal company was operating out of it. So you can see the motor pool. Unfortunately, there's a tractor trailer covering the motor pool, but you can see everything's painted. The grass is mowed. Over here to your right, you had the administration office and the recreational center, which I would assume they had things to do, eat in the rec center and all that stuff. And if you'll go to photo number 3, this is 2023. So as we start to see a decline. And now we're in 2025, and I'm not sure what it looks like up there, but I'm very curious to go up there and see.
Yeah.
So can you elaborate a little bit about what caused this shift and what caused the decline?
Once the radar station closed in late 1959, I'm pretty sure, and if anybody's out there that can 100% guarantee this is what I have heard, is that it was abandoned after it was a radar station, and then the coal companies took over. And then in 2020, the coal company left, and this is what's left of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this building, Shay, if you'll point, the building beside and behind the motor pool.
Oh, yeah, the domed one?
Yeah, I don't know if that building was there during the operation of the radar station or not. But like I said, if there's anybody that knows if that building was there, if that building was put in later, I could not find any information on that particular building. But all of this is hiked now. So there's all kinds of hiking trails, four-wheeling trails. At one time when the coal company had this property, it was private property, no trespassing. I don't see that as of 2023. And if you go back to, you see Airbase Lane right there.
Yep.
So if you go back to the 2025 aerial picture, you'll see that the name of that road has been changed. So it is
State Stone Road.
It's disappearing, guys. It is disappearing. And the housing area now is all brand new houses, subdivisions. And it shows how history is fading. Even something simple, Julien, and I'm sure you see it in Canada too. You see this decline in these things, and I remember going up there in my early 20s, four-wheeling, which was one of the only hobbies you can have to do when you live in the town of Lake City. And the coal company had it nice. And today I was going through and researching for the podcast, and I seen the 2023 picture, and I said, "Oh no!"
Right?
Oh no! And just to elaborate, Shay, if you go back to 2.
Yep.
Photo 2.
Yep. Well, that's 1.
Yeah, so you can see, Julien, buildings are painted, roads clear, and then if you hit 3, it just to kind of elaborate on the decline. So there you go, and that was 2 years ago.
Well, this building was there in the other photo too. You can see it right there.
Yeah. That's correct.
I would like to find somebody that would know if that building was a part of the. I mean, the way it's shaped, it should be. It should have been there when the radar station was there.
Yeah, I would imagine so. They don't make too many of those buildings anymore.
Yeah, so it's just a secret little place. The lake. Who would have ever thought?
Right. Yeah.
And ideally, that's the idea behind it. It's a radar station hidden on a ridge. Right. Nobody's supposed to know about it.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting decline there.
Yeah. Very much so.
Mm-hmm. And you in that part of the world, in the mountainous, this is the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. So, terrain there's rough. It snows there oftentimes where it doesn't snow in your lower elevations. So, the climate can be harsh there. As you can see, a lot of that equipment is just rusting away.
Yeah.
There's tons of places like that up here too.
Nobody, I'm sure somebody could quote me on this, but I'm going to go ahead and think that this equipment that's sitting around is mining equipment, coal mining equipment.
Right.
So, yeah, horrible decline.
Yeah, it's definitely, I know there's a lot of places like that. You see stuff like that happens all the time, and it's becoming more and more prevalent. Like, for goodness sake, there's a couple of channels on YouTube that tells that I bought a mining town. Like, they just like went and bought like a whole town. You're like, okay. So there's one guy that does Cerro Gordo, like out in Nevada. And like, mining was such a big thing back in the day, and it's still big today, but not like it was like, mining was like the internet is today. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. So yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of things in Maine that are similar to that, but it's nice to be able to see that it's still there.
Well, and one of the things about that area and growing up in that area, that whole Lake City, Briceville, Tennessee areas is at one time it was a thriving coal mining town. During this Air Force operation at this location, it was a booming coal town. An absolute booming coal town. And I think now all the coal has been exhausted, I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm sure somebody can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but we're an aviation podcast, not a coal podcast. So I'm sure that some of this equipment sitting there is coal mining equipment, I would assume.
Right. Yeah. My gosh.
So yeah, it's a horrible decline.
That is crazy. Well, somebody let the dog in. You can hear them running through.
Your guys are good. Take for a minute. And I said somebody walk in the door. Go ahead and take over for a minute.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking at some of the information on here. Obviously, we already went over it's built 1952. We know that it was manned by the 663rd Aircraft Control and Warning Squadron. It was basically designed to be an early warning and a like detecting, and tracking aircraft entering the United States airspace. It was, I don't know if you saw, Julien, like a couple of years ago, or even just as soon as last year, like they had a couple of those like unmanned aircraft like going over the United States, and they're like, what do we do? And I'm like, what do you mean, what do we do? We put that thing over Texas a couple of times, watch people shoot that thing down. It's like, what is that thing? So we need to get better at that, apparently. Let's see, you went over some of this stuff actually into the monologue. It was a gap filler site, so it says that it was operated several unmanned gap filler radar sites to cover blind spots. So the Melvin Hill, the Aquone, and London. Let's see, it was strategic, and then they closed it. The station was on June 1st, 1961, due to a budget constraint. You mentioned that before as well. But yeah, no, that's really cool. There's a lot of there's a lot of cool things on this.
Yeah, and you have to understand too, one of the things that's so crucial about this is how close this is to Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
Right.
And Oak Ridge, Tennessee being a national laboratory, it's very much in the spotlight. So I think a part of this was to, in part, protect Oak Ridge as well. And you think of your Manhattan Project, that all took place in Oak Ridge.
So I actually have a list here of the assignments of the 663rd. So January 1st, 1951 was assigned at McGehee Tyson Airport. November 1951, it moved to National Guard Armory. This is not talking about that space. This is talking about the actual, because they occupied this space, the 663rd division.
Yeah, they had several. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure how many exactly they had, but there were several all over. Yeah.
Yeah.
In North Carolina, Kentucky, all over.
Yeah, absolutely. I was trying to see, because I saw a thing here that was talking about the actual division of people that took it over. You know what I mean? But when I was looking at it before, it was the history of that military group. Became operational March as the Cross Mountain Air Force, manned by the 663rd AC&W Squadron. So I actually have, like, on online here, the history of them. So if you ever want to go to fortwiki.com and look up City Air Force Station, Lake City Air Force Station, it'll tell you more information about it. Very cool stuff.
And we're also going to put any documents and any photos we have, like what you've seen today, we're going to also put that over on our website.
Yeah, and I'll be working on that as soon as we're done. It'll probably take about 20-30 minutes, but I'll get it all up there with descriptions and all sorts of stuff that you need.
Absolutely. Speaking of that podcast, speaking of that website, we have a brand new website, www.hoapod.com. Tell us a little bit more about that, Shay.
Well, absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing the screen for that right now. So you had brought this to my attention, maybe a month ago when we started working on it. And it took a while for us to get everything there, but we definitely did. As you can see here, we got a lot of really good stuff going on here. So it talks about the history of the aviation podcast itself, talks about us, the crew. Look at that handsome group of guys right there. All right. I figured I'd throw in some quotes and stuff. And then, of course, the disclosures and the contact us type stuff. Now, I want to come back here for a minute. I want you to look. So right here, I'm going to change the location of this, especially for the mobile viewers. But this is a change of language. So I don't know if it's actually going to change these. It does. So you can see if you are from another part of the world and you want to change the name or the language of the website, you don't need to download anything. You don't need to have a extension. We have it all right here. The Netherlands right there. My goodness, I'll go back to English because I don't know anything else. And we got our social media links down here. And these will take you to wherever you want to go. So we got all of this, which is really nice. And then we have this. So when we get this new episode pulled up and put together and put online, it'll pop up here, right? And then this episode 74 will come down here. And well, it's already there now, but that's the newest one. But 75 will take that place. So 74 will move over here. 75 will be over here. So that's really cool. And then, of course, you have the contact us page. So if you want to send us a couple of smoke signals or whatever, you can definitely do that. These are working telephone numbers. Everything is legitimate and working. You're not going to be sending anything or calling random people or sending packages to some random guy in his bathtub in Pittsburgh. You know that we don't do that. So there's that. And then obviously here in a minute we're going to have the photos and whatnot. And then what I would really like to be able to do soon is have a store here. So you guys, so we can have shirts and coffee mugs and things of that nature that we can have for you guys, because there's a lot of really cool, unique gadgets. And I was talking with Derrick not too long ago about it. I was like, man, there's so many like gadgets and gizmos that are great for traveling, but sometimes you just have to go to the ends of the earth to try and get them. And so we're going to try and see if we can work out some deals with folks to try and get some of those traveling gizmos to make your flying like so much easier, like backpacks and bags and special headphones or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? I think that that would be great. And then that's just the privacy policy at the end. But that's basically until the newest one will be the photos and stuff. But other than that, that's basically the whole website as of now.
Well, you guys did an excellent job, and I'm very pleased for our team, Shay and for Derrick, who have been working tirelessly, and it's a real a dedication and an example of the dedication that they have to the aviation industry and to building a legacy, inspiring the next generation. And so back to what we were talking about, the transition of why radar control has fallen. And one of the reasons is the emergence of satellite control airplane operations. And so over the last 10 years, what's happened is that aircraft have originally been manned by air traffic control on the ground. And so if the world is round and an airplane is flying, they're being connected with air traffic control signals with people on the ground. And now this is changing. So now we've got satellite-based air traffic control. So we have a series of 72 aircraft that are spinning around the world. And so what this means is that for aircraft, they're able to travel anywhere around the globe and have satellite connection. Whereas before, if you're crossing over big oceans or deserts or areas where there is no air traffic control or radio signals, airplanes literally had to fly on their own. And so with global satellite air traffic control, it allows aircraft to communicate with each other and pace each other at a shorter distance. And as aircraft fly across the sky, they have a distance between the aircraft in front of them and between them. And so they actually fly in lanes in the sky, similar to lanes on a highway. And so because of the satellite system, they're able to increase the density of the airspace. And so you'll be able to put more aircraft in the same cubic volume. And this is a game changer for the industry because it'll eventually mean higher aircraft density. And so for an example, before you had a space of 10 kilometers between aircraft flying, pacing each other behind each other, and that'll be decreased to 6. And so over so much space, you'll be able to put more aircraft in the sky. So what does this mean for young people coming into the industry? They have just so much more opportunities for aircraft density. And as the industry evolves with the emergence of the Airbus 321, you'll find that there's the trend now is not to go for bigger aircraft, but medium-sized aircraft, the Airbus 321 long range. And so it'll connect medium-sized airports long range to other medium-sized airports. For an example, you'll be able to fly from Victoria, British Columbia, all the way to Nice, France, direct, without having to transfer through a hub like Vancouver, Toronto, or Charles de Gaulle. And so this is a game changer for the industry. For those people that are considering careers in the aviation industry, now is the opportunity to get in. There are so many opportunities, from air traffic control to airline management, airport operations, to airport maintenance, runway design configuration. It's going to develop a lot. And for those of you who have any questions about aviation careers, I have my book online. It's available on Amazon. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Careers in Aviation, and it talks about the 4 major careers in aviation. That is pilot careers, aircraft engineering, aviation management, and finally air traffic control. And so in this book, it'll tell you exactly what you need to do and what you need to know about the industry in order to get a career in those fields. And what do you guys have to say about the future trends of aviation? So we talked a little bit about the past, and where is the industry going now? What are your ideas?
Did you mean that for us, or are you asking the audience?
Well, it's open. It's an open-ended question, so it could be open for
Yeah, and to the to kind of roll back to the website, if you do have thoughts about that, definitely share it. Share what your thoughts are on aviation and things of that nature, and what needs to be looked into and whatnot. So, what I wanted to do real quick, Julien, for you, is I wanted to give the folks the your website. So what was your website? And I want to screen share it for everyone real fast so they know when they see it.
Yeah. So I did send Derrick an email with all my social media contact. My website is www.julienmartinson.com.
Okay.
www.julienmartinson.com. And of course, we're always open to any questions or queries about aviation history then and now, or if you have any ideas for episodes that you want us to talk about, we're always open to getting feedback from our listeners, and we're happy to discuss any type of aviation topics.
Yeah, and we'll put all of Julien's links below in the podcast description. All of our links will be below in the podcast description. So I absolutely enjoyed it, guys. For Julien Martinson, Shar Jones producing, I'm Derrick Beeler. Thanks for listening to the History of Aviation podcast.